week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet. Hello everyone, welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhoundd and
DrGloryhogg.
And not Greg Dixon. Still can't have Greg Dixon over. Super sad about it, but he will be back after this whole quarantine-y, toilet paper-y sort of thing goes down.
If he brings us toilet paper, maybe.
If he brings us toilet paper, then we let him back on.
That's it.
Thank you for everybody joining us in chat today. It looks like we have Alan, and I saw John and Petter. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and Battlecry.
Battlecry, always the first one on. If there was like an award for being the first one on, Battlecry would have
That's right. He'd always get that award. Hashtag free Greg and hashtag keep Greg away.
Both.
Wow.
Greg online? I'm not sure if he knows how his computer works. He's been invited.
Well, and he's been trying to do a lot more work and stuff like that because of his job. He needs to go out there and like find things, so it's a little bit more stressful for him right now. So 5 million in just one day. Yes. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about Frosthaven last, but man, that's starting. Like I checked it and at first it was at 2 million. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're doing so good. And then I checked it later in the day and then it was at 4 million. I was like, holy crap.
Isn't it at like 6 right now?
Yeah, I think that's 6 million right now. I was like, that's so awesome for Isaac. And then hopefully that we can get Gloomhaven online all finished up and everything. And they're going to be offering the app with that. So they're going to be doing amazing stuff with that.
It's just 6 million. 6,167,000.
Just a cool 6 million, okay? All right. Hello, Mike. Oh, hi. Hi, Isaac. Thanks so much for joining us today. Yeah, congratulations on having such an awesomely successful Kickstarter campaign. Like, it's exciting watching it do so well. And that app with having the storytelling put in it, like I'm so excited.
The Foreteller app?
So excited about that app.
You just stole all my important information.
I'm sorry.
I can't tell you how excited I'm about the Foreteller app.
There's like so many spoilers happening right now.
Yeah, Greg, I want Greg at least to pop in on the comments, but we'll see. We'll try to work him in. It's just his schedule is a little weird.
That's right. That would be super lovely if Greg would show up.
We don't want to do like the window and window and window just to have Greg. No, it gets weird.
Oh my gosh, we got crazy windows.
Audio gets corrupted really bad if you've got like people like kind of like teleconferenced in.
You can only see the tail. Tell the cat to stand up. All right, here's Wesley. She's gonna make her quick little appearance here.
You say
all right.
quick.
Well, maybe not. Nope. She's camera shy today, apparently, guys. Sorry.
She'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back later.
She only comes whenever we don't want her to.
That's true. Especially whenever we turn on the cameras, legitly, like no joke, she knows. Like she'll dig at the door. She'll try to jump up here. Like she knows.
She's wandering around the table right now. She'll probably be back.
All right, first up, we have Winter Kingdom. I was going to say Kingdom Builder. That was the previous one. Winter Kingdom. This is by Queen's Game. This is going to be for 2 to 4 players. Queen's Game still does not have like a little intro video. I still wish they had that intro video on here, you know? DrGloryhogg, what were your first thoughts on this game?
Well, once again, stealing my thunder. I feel like, for me, a lot of the hype comes from that video, right? Like that trailer. That's why we have trailers for movies, is to build the hype, right? I can look at a poster all I want. And then the second thing that does it for me is when I see people that I know review it, right? So people that I'm familiar with in Board Game Spotlight, Dice Tower, Man vs. Meeple, Rahdo, people, you know, John plays games, John gets games, like seeing people that, Tantrum House, I'm just gonna name everybody I know.
All the people?
Anybody, yeah. Seeing people's reviews and then playing it and discussing it and kind of breaking it down because everybody kind of explains it in their own way and everyone's got their person that they like to listen to. And I really enjoy that for whatever reason, and it's probably because Queen Games is pretty established. They never do that. They just do, here's the splash art, no video, no reviews, just here's the game. Now, what it has going for it is that it's based off of Kingdom Builder, which is a pretty popular game. I've heard about it a million times. I've never personally played Kingdom Builder, but I've heard good things about it.
So John C. says, I'm curious about this one since I've never played Kingdom Builder.
Yeah.
We are too, because we've never played Kingdom Builder, but for me, this is actually really exciting, and I'll go into it here in just a second. Calvin says, this game got such a bad rap from Tom Bassel at the Dice Tower, but it always intrigued me. Here's the thing about people's reviews is you kind of have to match this sort of reviewer that likes the sort of games that you like in order to get like the right opinion of that game. Because just because Tom Bassel doesn't like it doesn't mean it's a good game. Tom Vassell doesn't like Blood Bowl. And that's a fantastic game that I love and I would totally recommend.
Well, and like he dumped on Gruff because of the art, and Gruff is a great game.
So I mean, it's a person's opinion. So you kind of got to take that with its own 2 cents. Like, if you like a lot of games that Tom does.
Take it with its own 2 cents. It's worth what it costs you, a pound of salt.
Queens does make a lot of games, but they don't look like your type of game is what Petter
so
says.
Queen games just always kind of look like they're kind of like a Euro game that I expect to see at my local game store, but I'm never like pumped to get it, right? Like I see it there and I'm like, oh, there it is. And there's a million of them. And if you stack them all next to each other and you took the titles off, I wouldn't be able to tell you which ones are which. I'm just like, oh, it's another Queen game. I could tell you it's a Queen game. They must have like the same artist for all of them.
Greg loves Queen games.
He
and
does.
I have to say, I'm excited about this one, guys.
I just haven't played enough of them. I guess I don't lean very heavy Euro, so.
I like the map on this, and I like how you're going to the different parts, and you're trying to use the cards to get to different parts of the map to get resources and stuff like that. It's a resource management sort of game with a little bit of like area control and stuff like that.
Well, see, I think the cool thing is the asymmetrical powers that you get, because everybody gets like their own 5 kind of powers that you kind of can get, and you can do things differently. So like I would have the ability to do something on the mountains that you might not have, or or we'd be fighting over the cave trolls. I don't know.
And this is a standalone game.
Yes.
On this one here. So let's see here. I want to make an official app for the Haven. To take out some of the admin and Space Haven. Oh, we're talking about Haven there. Let's see here.
Yeah, Mike wants to know about Space Haven.
Space Haven?
Yeah. He's looking forward to the future.
That would be excellent. I'd be down for Space Haven. Everybody's so excited about talking about
Frosthaven. Games makes a lot of really good games. We backed some of the Peterson games. Peterson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did. We backed their space one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their big, giant space one. With this one,
I need to see when some of these games are coming in.
With the last few Queen's games that came out lately, I think I've been most interested actually in this one.
Okay, that's fair.
Because there was Copenhagen, which I was also interested in because I really like the polyomino, like tile laying portion of it. But this one is actually more my style with having the hex map and everything like that and expanding and stuff off of there. Like, that's just my particular style of game.
So I'm wondering if this one was stylized more like Scythe, if I would have been more interested in it. Because, like, I jumped in early on Scythe where I wanted Scythe really bad, and you didn't. You were not interested at first. And then you found the error of your ways. But this one kind of has like that same type of thing, right? With like the hex map and you're building and you're going around. And I wonder if it was stylized different, if I would like it more.
Okay, so here's a really interesting comment here. Without the video, I have a hard time backing this, says John. And I'm telling you, like, I don't get it. I don't know why Queen's Games just does not have a video with their game.
You see Petter, he's like, they are Peterson. I am Petter, son. Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Very distinct differences.
Yes, Hyperspace. That's the one we backed.
Yes, absolutely. And that one looks amazing.
And we did it like at a level to get like 2 of the extra alien factions, I believe. And then like we have a buddy who lives more like the DC area that also backed it with 2 of those. And we're hoping that we got different ones so that we can swap them through mail.
So let's see here. I bet Kingdom Builder is going to have a super mega box, which includes this. Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it is a standalone game, but I would imagine, because they like to do their big boxes with Queen games.
Because there's their big box right there that I believe you can get from this online thing. Now with Queen's Games, we've talked about this before. Once they're out there, unless you can pick them up secondhand somewhere, they're a little bit harder to find. Or even if you go ahead and
like the exclusive Kickstarter versions, yes.
Well, just Queen's Games in general. Like
you end up going. Game always goes to retail.
You end up going to conventions and stuff like that and getting them. But...
So the point that Greg usually makes is with Queen Games, you can get like all the bonus content at conventions and stuff, but like you can get the actual just game itself. You should get that at any retailer, any like friendly local game store.
If we go to our friendly local game store, I haven't seen a whole lot of their games.
Well, Game Depot carries like 1 of each of their games. I would say.
Well, Game Depot's awesome.
So that's what I'm basing it off of. I feel like I find their stuff a lot.
Just because it's in your stuff, like at your friendly local game store.
Alan says he doesn't think their distribution's too tight. Yeah, I think Queen Games, the argument that Greg always makes is that why would I back this on Kickstarter when I could just pick this up at a game store, which is his general argument, right? And I can kind of understand that one. With the way Kickstarter is set up right now, I'm only trying to back like the hype games or games that I feel like there's something I'm going to miss out on if I don't get it now. And I don't feel like this is one of those games personally.
And John is saying, why no video with 89, about 90,000 with no video, so they don't need to? And I don't really think that's the case, because if they did have a video, wouldn't it be more? Like, I mean, nothing hurts by having a video, honestly. Like, it's the first thing that people see going on your page. And whenever I'm showing off this Kickstarter to people, I really enjoy having that video because that's how I showed off on Dice Tower. That's how I showed off to you guys. Like, it involves people in the game and it gets them excited for the theme of the game because they can do a quick like discussion of the theme and then go into a quick review of the mechanics. And it wraps everything up into a nice, neat little box. So like you can look at that usually if it's a good video and go make the majority of your decision off that. Yes, I want to continue looking down the page for the Kickstarter and see what they offer. No, I don't like this.
I really equate it to movies because everybody is really familiar with movies, right?
True.
I can see a picture of Captain America standing in front of like a burning building. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see that movie, right? But if I'm not as familiar, if I see a video of Captain America sliding under tables, jumping off of stuff, like, I don't know, kicking people off of a boat, I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. What is this? If I'm not a Captain America fan, right? I think it's the same thing. They're getting all their Queen fans. But if you're not super a Queen fan, like that trailer really kind of gets you into the game and what's going on. And then can sometimes help build that hype. Like if I wanted to share this campaign, I'd just be like, hey, here's a game that's coming out on Kickstarter. And it's just a still image versus you send the Frosthaven one over and it's like, Frosthaven, do you like ice? Do you like havens? Frosthaven, I don't know. But I didn't memorize the video. But if you send that video to somebody, they can watch that video and get like super excited about it. If you just send them over the Queen Games thing, you're just sending them a still page, and that's not as exciting. I just like sending somebody like a cover of a book. Like, here's the cover of a book versus sending them, here's a video, here's a trailer of the movie. They're just two totally different mediums.
Well, that's totally how you got Petter into reading. It was Petter that ended up reading.
Rune Lords, yeah.
Yeah, it's because it wasn't just the book cover. Oh, here's Rune Lords. This looks great. You got into it.
Yeah, I didn't just show a picture of it.
Yeah, and like the theme of it and what's happening a little bit, and that gives people a taste of the game, you know? And I really wish that Queen's Games would do that because this looks amazing. I love the pieces in it. I love the strategicness of trying to place things in your map to get resources and stuff like that. Like, I'm excited about this game. And they still have, but here's the sad thing. I looked at this on, what was it? Monday or Tuesday or something like that. And they still had some of these early bird pledges open still, and they still do have these $55 early bird pledges. Like I was expecting them to already be gone by now. Yeah. So they haven't moved much from that first few days of it, you know? Which I'm kind of sad about, but I'm going to back this. I'm going to back this at this early bird pledge, which is not as early, but it is an early bird pledge.
So Alan's bringing up a good point that they are using it as pretty much a pre-order system.
Right.
And there's a lot of game companies that have kind of switched to that, and I agree. I think the game is pretty much built. They don't really care what their backers are going to say about it, and that's not indicative. I'm not saying that they're a bad company or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't really feel like they care about the whole Kickstarter process. They're just like, hey, here's our game. Back it. They're not like, here's our game. What does everyone think? Oh, we can take that into consideration. Oh, we can change that. Oh, update that. It's done. That game's done.
Here's the thing about, and I really hate people talking about, well, it shouldn't be a pre-order system. Like,
I think that's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Pre-order system is actually really great for game companies who are smaller and want to continue to produce titles for you guys, you know?
The really hard part is that game companies, large game companies, right? Let's talk about huge game companies. Sometimes they have employees, upwards of 10 employees. That's the part that people don't understand. These game companies, if you try to get a job at some of these game companies, you look at it, you're like, cool, they employ 5 people.
Yeah.
That's really hard. I would be like, I'd be 20% of the company if I got hired. That's way different than something like University of Phoenix, where I work, where it's just like hundreds of employees, if not thousands, if not millions. I don't know. There's so many.
So having a pre-order system like this in place for them, it allows them to be less risky with the games that they end up, you know, purchasing and stuff and then selling, you know.
Which I know that like Steve Jackson, as a good example, has done that when they had their Munchkin Shakespeare. It was an idea they had. It was an idea that fans had brought up, but they just didn't want to throw their money into it without knowing if there was a need. So then when they put up the Kickstarter with just a few of the cards and the people got super excited about it, then they're like, oh, this is something people want. We should do this.
Produce this, and then you guys,
and I feel like that, I think that's 100% what Kickstarter's for, or for someone who's new trying to build a Kickstarter, or for someone who's doing a lot of exclusives. There's so many different things. Kickstarter is something different to everybody.
Okay, so Alan says, I'm not bothered by it, but Queen doesn't really treat their backers well. That's really interesting.
Actually,
why is that?
You know what Kickstarter is? Kickstarter is the old Toys R Us catalog you'd get in the mail before Christmas. You'd flip through it and be like circle stuff like, I want this, I want this, I want this, but it's for adults. That's what Kickstarter is to me. It's a place where I can find all the new cool games that I want to play all in one place. I can look at them, they're shiny, I circle the ones I want, and I hope that Santa gets them for me, and but she's Santa.
Steve Jackson Games does an excellent job with their Kickstarters and making sure people get amazing content with their Kickstarters. Like, they do such a great job, and they're so on top of comments and stuff like that. They're just always so great about it. So Mike Farrell says pre-order fine, and can get Kickstarter exclusives.
Yeah,
right.
That's fine.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I would much rather just kind of purchase it on Kickstarter, get it to my door, get really cool exclusives and stuff like that.
Well, I'm getting really lazy now. I kind of want everything delivered to my door.
Well, and then pick up the other stuff. Well, right now you kind of need everything delivered to your door, so.
Please, all non-essential packages be delivered to my door, which is all of them, apparently. Apparently, I don't do anything essential throughout most of my day.
Well, and then have the other games, you know, at your friendly local game store that you might go to, that like the mass-produced sort of thing.
So, for me personally, if you're going to ask my opinion, I would pass on this one. I wouldn't back it.
Okay.
Because the Euro style doesn't appeal to me as much. I don't like area control as much as she does. I feel like this game is going to be at the game store. For me, this is a game that somebody like Greg is going to convince me to play. I'll play it, and if I enjoy it, I'll go to my game store over the weekend and pick it up. I don't feel like this is a hype train, got to get this on Kickstarter. That's my opinion, but everyone's going to feel differently, and it's going to really depend on if you're a fan of Queen Games or not. For me, if I like it, after I play it, I will go pick it up at a game store. I don't need the exclusive, so for this one's a pass. I think there's other ways I'd rather spend my limited funds.
We have another hype train to talk about today, so.
What?
I would back this game. It looks really interesting to me. I enjoy like looking at the mechanics and stuff like that and how it's going to play out. I'm really excited about this game. So this has been the first Queen's game I would have backed for a little while now.
Yeah, I think Copenhagen was the last one.
No, Copenhagen would have been the other one. Moving on, we have 3 different games here. This is by BoardGameTables.com, and this is GPS, Sequoia, and Mountain Goats.
Which we should get bonus points for knowing how to say Sequoia, because we live in Arizona. That is an Arizonian word.
And Alan says that game is a pass for him. Try somebody's copy, but that's given. I basically try all games.
That's fair.
Didn't feel the need to back this one, says John. Oh, that's interesting. Lots of people seem like they were pass on that one. That's fair. So with these particular 3 games, I'm really excited about them because they are all like kind of gateway game-ish games that I feel like can have varying levels of complexity with each one. Like, for example, this GPS game that they're showing right now, this is probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
But it's still really interesting because you're spinning that dial. It has table presence. People are going to come around the table and be like, oh, what is this? You're going to be able to play it with everybody.
The production
it's so
quality
simple to understand.
looks really good, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because this is Board Game Tables, right?
Yeah, BoardGameTables.com. So they did Bites, which I love the production quality.
Bites was good. It's a fun little game. It's a short game. It's under 30-minute game, like a 20-minute game, but it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. So GPS, you're going to be placing satellites as you go around, and then the whole point is to get them in the correct order. So like 1 through 10 on that one there. Got excited of a game called GPS and realized it wasn't about geocaching.
Yeah, sorry, Alan.
Poor Alan.
Your hobbies cannot merge.
That's what you need to make, Ellen. You need to figure out the geocaching game like that.
What's nice, though, is you can get, it does spin.
Oh.
But not the whole thing.
But it does spin. Mike does have a point.
How have we not ordered a Lazy Susan by now? Like, how have we not? So here's the one. Yeah, so I actually agree with Petter. Surprisingly, after he ruined my Welcome To game, this one's the least excited for me, the GPS one. But there is one on here that I am excited about.
It's the least exciting maybe for
out of the 3
hobby gamers. However, it's going to be the most exciting for gamers coming into the hobby or non-gamers, guys. And you have to keep that in mind because people seeing that, they're going to immediately know how to play when you discuss it like in 5 minutes, you know.
Well, I just like that you can get these all for $15 or you can get all of them for like, I think it was like 40.
Yeah. And then we have Sequoia, which I really like the dice placement that they're using in this, where you roll a dice and then you're making like groups of dice, and you do it for both the Sequoia game and the Mountain Goats game, but you operate them just a little differently. Yeah. And for the Sequoia game, you have a little bit of that Las Vegas-y sort of feel to it, where you're putting all of your little like
chips.
Yeah, chips on there and everything. You're trying to win those
they wood
cards.
Chips?
They are not wood chips, but they look like little flowery sort of things. So I'm guessing like
it's the tree.
Right,
it's the tree rings.
But they have little different. Oh, it's the tree rings.
You're building the tree.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
You're building the tree.
I was looking at the mechanics. I actually
Sequoia.
wasn't
You're building
at
a Sequoia. You're building a Sequoia.
Which I feel like that one has a little bit more. I mean, there's still strategic portion to it.
That one's area control more.
It is, absolutely.
So I figured that would be the one you were most excited about.
Really?
It's not?
That's the one I'm second, like, that's my second as far as
That's where I'm at second-wise.
My third.
Here's the good one.
Yeah, my
this is the
favorite
one I think
is the mountain goats.
Yeah, I think this is the best one, right? Because the theme is good, too. So you're rolling dice. You're trying to get at least a 5, right? Groups of 5. So if you got like a 1 and a 4, that goes your 5. And then you're bumping your way, you're going your way up, right? And you can share spaces, and you're running up to the mountain. And when you get towards the second to last spot, you roll, you move your guy up, and you just, boom, you headbutt a dude right off the mountain. And that goat can't get mad about it because that's how goats do. That's how goats do. So that goat skitters back around and then starts climbing up the thing again. And then they fight, and they go all the way up, and then you, boom, you knock them off. So it's all about, like, figuring out where, like, how to use your dice that you rolled, what's your best moves, can you make multiple moves, and then bumping somebody off at just the right time so that when the game ends, you're on top.
So Sam says, I saw the goat meeples and immediately went all in. And Isaac says, I'm personally disappointed that the mountain goats isn't about the band.
About the band mountain goats?
And jeeples are super cute, says Petter. Yes, sequoias are in Arizona.
Saguaros.
Oh, and saguaros, yeah,
yes, there are lots of saguaros.
And yes,
yeah, I do like goats.
Dr. Gloryhogg does really
like goats. Anything that headbutts a lot, I kind of like. There's a couple movie stars that headbutt a lot in their movies. Also like them.
What? Well, and I like that
Van Damme was a really good headbutt.
They did use the same sort of dice mechanics in both games where you're separating the dice, but in the goat game, it is about how many movement. You're trying to make groups of 5, and then for each group of 5, you get to move a goat up with that. So both of those 2 games are very highly strategic. One is more area control. Well, this one has a little bit of the take that to it because you can try to, but it is a race to get to the top.
Well, it's a race, but it's also about managing what you've got in front of you, right? Because you got to manage your dice pool to move your goats.
That's true.
And also, it's kind of like reminds me of Munchkin, where you want to be at level 9, but you don't want to be level 10 till like towards the end. So you got to know, like, when do I jump? When do I become king of the mountain? If you do it too early, you're going to get bumped off. If you wait too long, though, you might never get the chance to get there. So it is about managing that tug and pull.
When you get to the top, you have to say, I'm king of the mountain, like that, right?
You do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And like another goat holds you?
That's right.
Did you do that? Is that what you're going for? Going for a little Titanic?
Exactly. And the other goat holds you, and you, like, loom over the table, and then your turn is over after that. Like, that's how you do it whenever you play that game.
I buy pre-processed clothes. Thank you.
This group is a try before you buy for me, says Johnsy.
They're light. They're going to be lighter games, but I could definitely see picking up.
Oh, wow.
Always king of the mountain of losing.
Wow. Damn.
Okay.
Ouch. So much burn.
I remember playing Suburbia Collector's Edition with somebody. Not going to say who won that one. It was me. I'm going to say it.
So with this group of games, I'm actually excited about the last 2. And I feel like
I would do the goat one, I think. For $15, the production quality is cute. It's a fun game. I think it's more strategic than a lot of little filler games, and it is. It's a 15-minute end-of-the-night game, or everyone's getting together type of game.
Or whenever you're eating dinner and you're bringing this to dinner to kind of set up and play, or to a family gathering to play with family and stuff, because it's going to be, all 3 of them are super easy to teach. Like, these are good staple games is kind of like what I'd like to call
staple
them.
Games?
Yeah, like staple foods, you know, like games just to have around all the time to like show people.
Foods, though, these are like the corn or like the mashed potatoes, like they're on the side.
So side staples.
Yeah, well, they're
like the green beans.
Yeah, sure. They're like the sides.
So like
say sides because not everybody likes green beans.
GPS is like the spinach, and then
definitely the spinach for me.
For you. Oh my goodness!
This isn't wrestling.
Calvin, yeah, wow. Dana Game Boy Geek is coming off the top turnbuckle with a wicked elbow, dropping it down.
Okay. I'm gonna let that one slide because he dropped off a game for me the other day. I'm gonna let it slide.
Well, that is true. That is true. Plus, goat meeples, the jeeples. I mean, I'm down for it. $39 for the bundle. That's not bad at all because
I just feel like I'm only gonna really want to play mountain goats, so I'm just gonna get the mountain goats.
You could get the bundle and then you could gift one of them.
So that was the other part. I was thinking about it. I mean, you're saving $5-6, right? If you did,
get the bundle and gift all of them.
Yes, you could. You could get. I could see myself keeping mountain goats and giving out like GPS or Sequoia to maybe like my brother or my mom or something like that.
Give them out, to the people that are going to love those games because I'm sure you're trying to introduce Well, and by introduce, I mean encourage people to join your gaming
Right,
table.
so it's like your mom came over to play like Set a Watch, right? And that was just a little bit too much upfront work to get going into. But something like this, we could just plop down and play, and she'd be all into it. Because she likes to just get down and play. She likes to be able to play within like 10, 15 minutes. If it takes 30 minutes to explain and set up the game, she's just going to lose interest.
All right, so I'm going to say I'm going to back this.
I want to back Mountain Goats.
I want to back at least Mountain Goats as my number 1. Sequoia is like my number 2. GPS is cute. I feel like some other people would really like that, though.
I just want to play Mountain Goats. So let's just
you just want to play Mountain Goats.
Yeah. I feel like Mountain Goats is a good one. We have Bites already. We can take Bites with us.
That's right. Bites was really good. And we're going to have to help Alan, like, get his Bites thing. He still hasn't fully punched his. So let us know.
It's all about being hungry when you're punching it. Because you're just like, get out.
Let us know which one of these games you guys would back in the chat. Because I'm curious to see what your guys' favorites were. I know you guys were not as excited about GPS as well. But between those other two, which ones do you guys like the most on that, you know?
A little bit of something for everybody.
Right?
What are the games we have to talk about? Anything else, or are we just wrapping it up?
Oh, no. We got 2 more games to talk about here.
Yeah.
2 more games. 2 more. So, next up we have Sanctuary by Tabula Games. This is for 1 to 2 players. It's going to last about 15 to 30 minutes. It's
got to be 30 minutes. I highly doubt that it's a 15-minute game, unless you're just flying through and somebody gets wrecked.
So this is a Magic-esque style card game.
Magic the Gathering trademark. It is. Do you want me to go over it?
Yeah, you can go over it. Let me go ahead and take a quick look here at the comments, though. Let's see. If I were, it would be Sequoias at the top, and then Mountain Goats, and then GPS.
Yeah, the spinner part actually did turn me off. Where I was like, because I don't like games that spin anymore. I'm not trying to play the game of life anymore.
The spinner, though,
I know it doesn't make you move, but it does in a way, because you're spinning it, and then if it lands on the right spot, then you get to move that stack. I want to be able to pick what I do. At least with the dice rolling, I get to pick where I want to use my dice. If it was just dice rolling and I go, oh, I rolled a 5, I get to move. Then I'm playing Machikoro, which I don't enjoy as much. I want a game where I'm like, I'm rolling the dice and then deciding what to do with those dice.
But with the spinner on that, you're still trying to do strategic placement with which numbers you have.
Right, but when you spin it, that's how you move.
Right.
So if you just don't hit the number you need to move, you could be sitting there at like, I just need to move one thing to win. And
you spin it and then you can take one from anywhere else and put it there.
Yeah, but you're still spinning. And if it doesn't land where you need it to land, you're just sitting there forever just spinning.
Maybe.
You're just spinning your wheels.
Okay. Let's see here. I have this one back, but still on the fence.
Icalon or Icalon or however you would say that, Icaion. That was one I was pretty interested in. I remember seeing that one.
Which one?
It's one of the ones they did previously.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this game is, first off, beautiful. If you're into card dueling style games, the box looks amazing. It's got stuff that slides in underneath. It's got perfect spots for all your little bits and bobs. It's got nice little tuck boxes. This reminds me of the really fancy, or just say fancy, the Magic Dual Decks Anthology, which was like a $130 set or something, and it had 5 different dual decks, like goblins versus elves, and they're all set up nicely, and they have their own like spin downs and all that stuff. Kind of reminds me of that. I think if you're going to play it, if you're going to buy this game, you got to get it with this box because it comes with like this. I think all the Kickstarter factions versus just 2 factions. It doesn't seem like it's very expensive. This is a great way to play a Magic the Gathering style game, but much shorter time frame because you're talking 15 to 30 minutes. You don't have to play best 2 out of 3. It has the same type of modes. You can play it solo. You can play it 2 versus 2. It's already constructed, so it kind of has that going for it, where you don't have to spend hours building it out if you don't want to. But if your game group does want to do that, you can do that. It's asymmetrical, where they all play differently. I can tell you, as I was going down and looking at the different factions, I could immediately assign each faction to each thing. I'm like, oh, that's Azorus. That's the blue-white flyers. Oh, that's Golgari. It's all about swarming and being black-green. So as a Magic player, it seems very interesting. I'm also, though, a Magic player, so I have a lot of Magic already. So it's always really hard for me to back these types of games because of that. But if you like the idea of Magic, but you just don't want to invest heavily into a card game that's expensive and forever going and has this really weird competition going on with it all the time, this is a great way to get into that style of game, but keep it light. It's like playing Destiny, the dice game, with the dice and the cards, or playing almost like Keyforge, where there might be tournaments for this at some point in time if they get lucky, but more likely than not, it'll just end up being a game that you play at your kitchen table with your significant other, your partner, your friend, whoever, your kid, and you can just have a good time playing it and then like put it away. Next time, get out new decks, play it. It's a very tight little world that you can play and have a lot of fun where everybody plays differently and everyone has like these different factions and different lore and background without feeling like you're super heavily invested in this trading card game that's constantly trading out cards and you're just spending money, 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 money.
Right. And Alan says, I like Magic, but I don't want to invest in it and have that weird competition and collectible aspect.
Yes. And that's what this is good for.
Absolutely. And I think you guys hit the nail on the head exactly with this is if you are interested in that style of game, but you are not wanting to have a crazy investment into it, this might be a good thing to back so you can get that sort of feel of Magic and a Magic-esque style card game.
It's a much easier way to play like a casual kitchen tabletop type version of Magic with not as intense because there's not thousands of seasons or thousands of cards. You're not buying cards constantly and you just get to enjoy it and play it and walk away from the table. Where Magic is this all-in huge thing and it gets ridiculous, and I'm just so heavily invested in Magic now. It'd be like if I collected classic cars is what I meant to say. If you collect the classic cars of, say, like Chevy, I'm not going to just switch to Ford now. That's kind of how I feel with this. I'm like, I'm so heavily invested in Magic. I'm not going to switch to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or any of the other ones. I'm heavily invested in Magic. That's my baby. I'll find my fun in that card game.
Right. And, I mean, I think that's kind of where I stand on it, is we're so heavily invested in Magic. The art in this looks amazing. Like, it looks gorgeous. This game is... I love the box and everything. Like, they did a lot for this game.
It is beautiful looking.
But for me, it comes down to, like, am I going to play this rather than Magic? And since we are Magic players, like, probably not a whole lot because we've gotten a couple other card games that we tried.
Deck builders and stuff. Those are more deck builders, but this is not. We did Keyforge, though. This is my opinion.
Like
I don't feel like you like this style of games as much. I don't feel like you like skirmish games, because all the skirmish games we've got where it's just like cards versus each other, unless there's some other aspect added to it, it's not something that you've wanted to play. So
this versus Keyforge, I feel like Keyforge is actually a really insanely simple game. Like, I don't like Keyforge because it's too simple. It is. I love Richard Garfield, but it is a game that is not interesting to me because of the way the mechanics work in it. I feel like just doesn't add a complexity.
My favorite parts about Magic is building the decks themselves. So either playing limited, where I have to build it out of a limited pool, or building out of all the cards I own. So with Keyforge, you're like, here's some random stuff, and you play it, and they don't always work together well, and you can't build a theme deck, where these are themed decks, which I'm 100% okay with themed decks.
Well, I love themed decks so much because
you're like, oh, I'm playing vampires, or we're playing dinosaurs, or cats, or dragons, or whatever.
Right, to be able to take that themed deck, and then you play it through, and then you learn that deck.
And you get into it.
And then, you're like, all right, well, I'm tired of this deck, let's try a new faction. And then taking that new faction and learning all of the stuff for that faction and how they operate and work and everything. And I love theme decks for stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean...
But Keyforge was just too random mixed up for me, personally.
Exactly. For me personally,
I would just get mad when I had a card that's like, if another beast comes into play, do this. And then I look at my deck and I'm like, cool, I have no other beasts.
So the starting price on this is $15 for one deck. So if you do have a group of friends that enjoys playing these games...
Skirmish games, yeah.
Yeah, you all could go ahead and just go in for $15. Everybody get a different deck and play them, and even like trade decks and stuff like that with people.
And you can do constructed with this if you want to. I think that this is a really good... Let me put it this way. If I was in the military or college, or I had a roommate that played these types of games, I would be all in on this one. Since she typically doesn't play these games as much, I just see it being another thing that I'm going to put on my shelf next to my other Magic dual decks and products that I have. And if I've got a buddy coming over, if my buddy John's coming over from that, we're just going to play Magic. So I'm going to get the dual decks out that we already have because we're both familiar with the game and we enjoy the game. So that's the only reason why I'm not getting this. But I'm still very, very tempted.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, it's a...
If you get the Kickstarter version
beautiful.
with like the play mats and everything.
Yeah.
It's, and I also have Gruff. And I also have other games, like I have Netrunner. I have Android Netrunner that's in the house too.
I'm super tempted,
that I just haven't gotten to.
For like a $15 deck, like... I mean, we can do a $15 deck.
We could definitely do that. If I'm going to do it, though, I want that box.
You want the big box?
Yeah.
Of course. What do you guys think about this Kickstarter? Let us know in the comments on this one. Wow, way more reasonably priced than I'd have expected. Yeah, for all of the art and everything that they have in this box, like, this is a fantastic price for something like this.
Definitely.
It looks more modern in terms of a card design than Magic. Way
it's
more
aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly. Way more streamlined looking, like...
I don't feel like it's going to be, like, have some of the unnecessary complication that Magic has gone through since it's been around since like '96. Right?
Well, and that's
I've only been around since '82. Magic is almost as old as I am. So like things have changed, people.
You have that with Magic. You have that same sort of stylized look that they've had around since the '90s. Yeah. So like, of course, that's going to look much older. And they can only
change it so much before their fans freak out and say like, "You're changing too much."
If you're back, you must get the box.
Yeah.
You have to go deluxe.
I agree.
All right, so this is a maybe on our list, guys. Like, I'm pretty excited about this, but you can't back everything. We're gonna have to make some choices, and I think you all know. I think you all know what the real choice is this week. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I have that too. I have Mage War Academy.
Hold on, let me
Ashes
downsize some of this here. What is going on? There we go. My computer's lagging a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, Frosthaven. So excited. This is going to be for 1 to 4 players. It's going to last about 30 minutes, which if you have some people that have some AP, it's going to be a little bit longer than 30 minutes, okay? They're introducing all new factions. Well, not all new factions. They're introducing new factions, and not only that, they are new characters that you can play in the beginning.
Right, you can play with old Gloomhaven. You can mix and match the characters back and forth.
This is so exciting. Like, I am so excited. And then I really love the fact that you're not just having that story, but you're also building up, like, your little base in this.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
you're jumping all over the place.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
So I'm sure most of you are familiar with Gloomhaven. It's a dungeon dweller. It's like the most known dungeon dweller where you're kind of going through dungeons and you're doing some stuff. That's awesome.
Frosthaven, never heard of it, says John.
So my first impressions of this was, of course, oh, it's Frosthaven. I got to definitely take a look at it because we missed the first wave of Gloomhaven. We had to buy it like later.
We did the second printing.
And here's my thing. When I first initially looked at this, it was a no back for me. And this is why. Because I own Gloomhaven and I've started the campaign 3 times with others and have not finished it. Okay? Hold on.
Oh, man.
And I also own Gloomhaven on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
And playing Gloomhaven on Steam, I've only played like the intro and a little bit of it. It was like a lot of fun. So I'm like, man, this is tough. Do I want this now or do I want to wait till it eventually ends up on Steam and play it there? And it's that weird, like, it kind of falls in that weird boundary where it's like, do I want this as a tabletop game or do I want this like as a computer game? And I kind of can't decide, right? I'm kind of in the middle. That was my initial impression of Frosthaven. But dang, it looks good.
So the Steam-based version of Gloomhaven, you can't play multiplayer just yet, but it is something that they're working towards, which I'm super excited about that. But it's one of those things that's like, I don't know if I want to wait for that.
Okay, that's fair.
You know?
I think the biggest problem we had with Gloomhaven is that we kept trying to start it with 3 or 4 players.
No, we just need to do this just us.
Right, well, that's what I was going to say. Realistically, the 2 of us will sit down and play through a bunch of different campaign games by ourselves. Much easier. Whenever we try to do these games with other people, they get delayed, nothing happens, so then it ends up getting disheartening where you don't really get into it. Where, like, for example, Reichbusters, we played it, and then we played it on the stream, and then we played it 3 more times over that weekend. Like, we just, like, almost got through the whole basic campaign of that game.
Oh, absolutely.
So for this one, I'm trying to remember that if we just played it together, like, we could start Gloomhaven now and probably finish it by the time this one showed up, and then we'd be ready for this one. That would be a lot of fun, but we would just have to say, okay, I'm going in for this.
I really like the fact in this campaign, too, that they're offering all of the stuff that you purchase down the line for Gloomhaven. So you're going to be getting this sticker set where you can take them off and on, like the vinyl sticker set. They're going to be offering the actual broken token organizer and everything with it. Yeah, they're going to be offering
the foreteller app, which I'm so excited about. I want professional narration in my games because I'm tired of hearing my own voice. I do this all the time, 4 times a week at least, where you're on camera. I don't want to hear my own voice reading off cards anymore. I want to hear somebody else's awesome voice.
So Isaac says, what? Frosthaven? Sorry, I was listening to the Mountain Goats. So Petter says Necromancer or the Harrower are the 2 that I really want to try. I totally agree with you. Necromancer is top on my list, Petter, okay?
Yeah, I like Necromancers
Let's
too.
See here.
I have one in Skyrim that's really sweet.
Also, like, it being $100 or something like that for backing this? Like, seems like a no-brainer at this point.
Well, I would back this, and then I would have to back it with the foreteller app, which I think is like another 15 or 20.
Oh, absolutely. You got to get you have to get the foreteller app on this. Like, totally.
I have a great comedic voice. Thanks, Alan.
Quarantine and the Haven games great match.
See, Joe knows, like, hearing your own voice thing is a real thing. Like, you just get, there's a scientific thing where most people don't like the sound of their own voice. If you know it's your own voice, you usually rate it really low, but then if you hear it and mix with other ones, you'll actually tend to pick that voice as the one you like more, even though, because it's mixed in with other voices and you don't realize it's your own voice.
Calvin says, I like how you can build your home base, and I love the fact that it's not a generic fantasy game.
No, it's very specific. So what this has done is taken the best parts of D&D, those weird characters, right?
Right.
Where you're like, I'm going to be a necromancer. I'm going to be a warrior monk that uses chains and trips all my opponents. I'm going to be a half-giant, Kenzai warrior. Or I'm going to be a tree king monk. Like all these weird sub-characters that most people don't think of traditionally, and plays those. And those are the characters I really enjoy because they're just weird.
I really like how it doesn't look like they changed the fighting mechanics and stuff like that. Like it's the same sort of system. So it's not like you have to relearn a whole system or relearn a whole bunch of extra different stuff or anything like that. Like I really like that. So it's basically just a new open world for you to explore with new characters, and that's fantastic. Like they did it right, guys, and then they added the app and everything. I'm so excited. Like, oh my gosh. What else can you think of? So
for me, the Foreteller app was really big. So now I'm like, so I went from being like, oh, this is going to be a pass for me. I don't need another big campaign game, to like, I'm leaning towards that. Foreteller app is a big selling point for me. Being able to get the broken token, the fact that it's cross-compatible, that's really big because I would like to play some of these characters in both places.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the thing that really sells me, because what I've realized is we do much better at legacy games because we're unlocking stuff.
Yes.
This one, retiring your character and then having the goals you complete decide what buildings you can put in your town. So you're building a town. I think that might be what does it for me. I think we might need to get this.
Really? You like the building up of the town?
Yes, because it starts off as like a kind of a generic town, and then as you do things, you can unlock other buildings in that town, and that's amazing. I would love to have a scenario where we kill a T-Rex and we decide to open up a T-Rex jerky stand. And I'm using this because this is what happened in my brother's campaign, where they killed like this giant T-Rex in D&D, and then they ended up making like exotic jerkies, and this became this whole thing where they were making exotic jerkies out of all these different animals. And like, I don't know, that just is really exciting for me to get to customize the map a little bit.
So, Calvin brings up a good point that Rado had made, saying that these characters are like a notch more complex than the starting Gloomhaven ones.
That's fine.
Which is cool for people who have already played Gloomhaven and stuff, but that doesn't mean that you can't take, for newer players coming into your campaign, some of the other characters and use those then, right? As far as them
you can swap them around
out,
and stuff.
You know?
So Alan's saying if you don't have either Gloomhaven versus Frost. So I'm actually a big proponent of, so I feel like board games are the opposite of movies. Movies, the first one is usually the best, and the second one is usually not as good. I find that whenever they re-implement the same world and redo it for the second one, I have not found a game yet that has gotten worse the second time. It feels like it's almost always a little bit better.
But
more
then
streamlined,
does
easier.
that mean then, though, that you want to play Gloomhaven first? So then you play Gloomhaven and then you get your
upgrade?
anyways,
just because you're doing it and then you're going, right? Yeah. But I would anyways, just because I have to do it in order.
Lurker jerky. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Well, so in the campaign, it got weird because they started jerking all kinds of creatures that they killed, and they got into really weird aspects of like, well, isn't that technically a mankind? Like, isn't that technically a humanoid? So are you like jerking humanoids? And they got into some kind of ethical discussions about it.
So Kabuki
Can you jerky a goblin?
Oh,
can you? Can you jerky a goblin?
Why would you?
Is it a creature or is it a humanoid? Which one is it?
Either way, it's not going to taste good.
Creature or humanoid?
Not going to taste good.
I'm just saying. So here's the real question I have about this game, and this is something we discussed before. Obviously, this game is blowing up, which congratulations. That's amazing. I know they've been working on it for a while. It's blowing up. I've been hearing about it forever and all the different retailer stuff and all the different board game media things. How many people do you think are buying this for the resale option?
Right.
So like this happened really big on Rising Sun, the Come On game, and I've seen it on some other ones too, where people have like backed it because they are hoping for the opportunity to then resell this one. I feel like the first one was amazing for that because there was only like, I don't know, it was like a couple thousand backers, but it wasn't like 100,000 backers for that first one, and it was an unknown entity. So then if you had it and a copy to sell, it probably went for a good price online.
Like Tainted Grail.
Right. But since this one is now a known entity, I just feel like that people who know about it are just going to get it on here or wait for retail. You're not going to really be able to resell this one a lot. I might be wrong, but yeah, there's way too many people backing this for a high resale value. And I wonder if how many people are doing it for that potential resale value. Because like we had a friend who backed the all-in on Rising Sun, but too many people had backed it, so he sat on his $350 second copy of Rising Sun forever. It was like a year, 2 years. I don't think he still sold it, and it's been like, what, a year and a half? So I'm just wondering how many people are doing that.
So, yeah, I was wondering that as well, as far as like how many people are backing it also for resale, because you do have the retailers backing it and everything. And okay, resale.
There's our Australian. There he is.
Is mostly, okay, resale is mostly a thing when there are exclusives. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
I agree.
That's true.
I agree. That's usually the case. But when games run out of stock, so Gloomhaven is still a game that's hard to find out in the wild. I get specific email updates from game stores that are local to me whenever they get it. They just got games like, hey, we just got a restock of Gloomhaven. We got 3 copies. Or Game Depot will message me. They're like, hey, we got that copy of Gloomhaven you wanted. We put it on order for you. I've seen those types of emails come through. I've seen other game stores that say, we're newer. We haven't been able to actually convince a distributor to give us Gloomhaven yet.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
we still haven't gotten our first copy. So they are hard enough to get. I feel like with this one being backed so heavily, though, they're not going to be hard to get. I think they're just going to be everywhere.
But that's a good thing, because then people are going to be able to get them.
Here's the real talk. We need to talk to our friends and see if anybody else has already backed it, so we don't end up quadruple backing it like we have done with some other games.
Maybe it is good, though, that some people are going to be getting it for resale, too, just for the fact that, like, in the economy right now, even though this is doing insanely well, maybe there are still people that are going to not be able to purchase the game at the time and then going to be looking for it at resale.
Yeah, there'll be a few. There always is a few.
Yeah.
You know.
So maybe it'll all actually balance itself out overall.
Maybe. I feel like people know about Gloomhaven now, so Frosthaven will be backed by people who want to back it. And then people who want it, I think that they'll have enough for retail that it'll be fine to find it in retail. I don't feel like this one's going to be as hard to find as the first one was for the first year or so.
No, because like everybody's going to have it and everybody's so excited about it and everything.
The game stores have Gloomhaven in stock now, but it was a while for some of them.
Since Isaac is in chat, That's
true. We do play 2-player anyway.
If the app does really well with this, are we going to see a app for Gloomhaven as well?
For the Foreteller?
Yeah.
You can, I think.
Can you do both?
Yeah, I think
I thought it was just for Frosthaven.
So Foreteller is a third-party company, if I understand correctly. And so they have Gloomhaven. They're going to do Frosthaven. And I think they've got like 1 or 2 other games, but you pay for it. I think you pay like $15 or something like that to have it unlocked so that they can do the narration for it, which I'm fine for. I wish they would do narration in all my different campaign games because I'm just super excited about that narration.
Absolutely.
That's one of the best parts about 5-Minute Marvel or 5-Minute Dungeon is hearing that epic movie guy going 5 minutes and he's like running out of time and you're like, oh no, and you're like frantically playing. I love that I love that professional narration.
The Gloomhaven narration is out now.
Yeah.
Where is that out?
It's on the Foreteller app. I've downloaded the app.
How did I even miss all that? Oh my god. Glory Bear will be old enough to play. Absolutely. This is on our list to play with our kiddo and everything, because our kiddo is like a huge
Oh, you guys can't see my screen, but I've already downloaded the Foreteller app. I just haven't bought the Gloomhaven one until she says we're ready to play it.
So yeah, Foreteller is selling Gloomhaven on their website, and they just announced that they're going to be going to do the 44 side scenarios in Gloomhaven as well. That is fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, because you can see they've got Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, Isopherian Guard was the other one they did. And then they've got Madeira too.
Like, now I'm just going to go, and this is the exciting part, is now I'm just going to go play like Gloomhaven while we're waiting for Frosthaven.
Yeah.
Now for the next, next month.
Like I said, my initial response was that I didn't want to back it because I'm like, I don't need another big campaign game. But the fact that they mix together too, and nothing is truly destroyable, right? If you get the removable stickers, but you still have like that great experience of building up your town and exploring the different worlds in the original Gloomhaven. I just feel like you could play this like so many different angles and so many different ways. Because even if you played through the whole thing, right, through both campaigns, there's still all the characters she played that I would want to play. So like now I want to play the Necromancer. Like I'll start off with this Necromancer, go through. I think this is one that I don't know if I can pass it up again because I passed it up. We missed it the first time. We ended up buying it later. I think this is one we just have to go all in on, even though I really don't want to spend the money right now.
Also a fan of the Broken Token inserts. Yeah, Broken Token does amazing quality with their stuff. Like I personally can't do it because I'm like allergic to like cardboard and wood and weird stuff.
Yeah, we've done the folded spaces ones.
They're amazing. Yeah, and Folded Space also made one for Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Which is a sort of, if you are allergic to any sort of wood pulp sort of things,
it's a foam core.
Yeah, it's a foam core sort of one. It does really well.
It's a hard foam.
Yeah, absolutely.
She just can't touch she's allergic to, well, funny enough, she's allergic to all the different like cardboard and glues and like the cheaper pressed woods and stuff that comes with all board games. So like whenever she comes in with an Amazon box, she's like got a rash just from carrying it. It's pretty ridiculous.
Okay, so
Ooh,
I think
Gloomhaven's on sale right now, Foreteller.
Ooh.
See, but here's the thing. I feel bad because I have it on Steam also. So I'm like, are we going to play like the original version? Are we going to play the Steam version? Are we going to stream it? How are we going to do this thing?
How does Petter not have Tainted Grail regret? I have Tainted Grail regret. Like, that was one I should have picked up. So I'm not making the same mistake as Tainted Grail with this. I'm backing Frosthaven. Like, that was our #1 for this week, guys. It looks amazing.
That's
I'm
fair.
excited to play with the new characters because these characters almost seem like they have a little bit more of like an evil taint to them, you know? Like, they're like evil, the evil side characters.
Alan says, I think back to Tom Vassel's introduction to Frosthaven at PAX U, where he's like, who's finished their Gloomhaven campaign? And like nobody raised their hands. I feel like, yeah, I can definitely see that. For us, we had two things going against us. One, we tried to play people outside the home. That always takes a lot longer. We played Plank Legacy in 2 weekends. We just got it done. We played Pandemic Season 2, 2 weekends. We played Pandemic Season 1, and it almost took us a full year because we were doing it with other people. So that works against you when you're playing with people outside of your home, unless they're regulars that come to your house all the time. And I was still in school getting my bachelor's degree in business. So that also took a lot of time. We have a little bit more time now. There is no finishing Gloomhaven. That's pretty true. I can see that. But yeah, I'm super... At first, I was like, oh, I can pass this one. I don't need another big campaign game because I have 2 or 3 other big campaign games that I haven't finished yet. And you can never really finish those games. But yeah, I don't know. I feel really super tempted to back this one.
Are you on the fence? I want to back it.
Well, I want to back it. It's just I got to like look at the money. Right? But like, yeah, I'm very...
This is our #1. This is our #1 this week, guys.
I feel like this is one that I'll get a lot more enjoyment out of than some of the other ones that we saw.
Yeah. This is our
like
#1.
we'll play Mountain Goats a lot, right? And for $15, sure. This is one, though, that you get hours and hours of gameplay at. This is like an epic... This is like watching Lord of the Rings versus watching something like, say, Fast and Furious has a bunch of movies. Think about any movie that has just like one of. Where you're like, oh yeah, I watched Tombstone. Tombstone's great. I enjoy it. I've watched the movie, love it. But this is like Lord of the Rings, where it's like this whole epic storyline where you're like, man, I could talk about Lord of the Rings all day, every day, because it's this huge epic campaign. That's what this game is like.
So is DrGloryhogg sure this is his #1? Are you? What do you think? Out of all, okay, so.
Oh, out of this week? Yeah.
In chat today, guys, tell us what your #1 game was for the week that we talked about, okay? It is Frosthaven?
Yeah. Yeah, it is Frosthaven.
I'm going to say Frosthaven, and then...
I liked Sanctuary. And then whenever we have $15 games, they don't really seem like they make
I
like
really
a
like
top
the
pick.
I really like the $15 set, though. We always usually end up backing the $15 ones.
I like Sanctuary, but I don't feel like I will regret it if I don't get it right now.
Yeah.
I feel like Frosthaven, if it's one that I can't get right away, whenever it's out and it's hot, I'm gonna
be
feel
super
bad.
sad. I'm gonna be super sad, and we're just gonna play through it. Guys, if you have a dedicated gaming group at home that loves role-playing style adventures, like Frosthaven's like a yes, like just a checkbox.
Yeah,
like
it is.
I mean, it's an all-in-one system that you're gonna be using, and I love the card mechanics in it. I love the dungeon crawl through it. Like, it just fits really nice. It fits and the story's great going through it and making those choices as you're traveling along and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we just need to give up the ghost and just start playing it 2-player.
I think so too. Guys, get all of those irregulars out of your gaming group and just go play your Gloomhaven and then back Frosthaven, okay?
There you go. I bet you
just do it. Do it solo. You can play a party of one, okay?
You can, actually. You can.
And Calvin, you're right. Necromancers for the win. I'm telling you, if you have a party, you want to invite a necromancer, because if you don't have enough people, you can always make your own friends, okay?
Yeah, necromancer is never alone, because you just invite whoever you want by just raising the dead.
Right?
A good point, though, is if you've never played Gloomhaven and you're on the fence, you can always get it for very inexpensively on Steam, kind of play like the beta and see if you like it.
That's
and then
very
know if
true.
you want to back the physical copy.
That's very true, absolutely. So Sanctuary is my #1 for the week. If I had the money for Frost, though, it may have been more interested, or you would have been more interested.
I can definitely understand that, right? Like, I wish I had enough for all the games, but I just don't. And I think I might do Frosthaven over everything else.
So Frosthaven for Calvin, if we weren't entering this like crazy period going on, and maybe that'll be a good resale thing later on. What
give
else?
Up the ghost or give up the goats? I think we could probably still squeeze the goat in.
Yeah, I want to.
Because I don't think I'm going to go all in on every single little bit of Frosthaven. I will definitely do the Foreteller app for sure if we do it, and
then
I will
the base game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do the coins and some of the other stuff.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of upgraded coins lately, and I feel like it's getting crazy.
And let's see here. So don't forget, Dan is hosting on tour worldwide tonight. Absolutely. I think he said at 6 o'clock, Game Boy Geek is going to be doing that. And Game Boy Geek actually has some really fun stuff planned where he's going to have like somebody really popular on, and you're going to play games against him because he has this cool like little system where you can pick yes or no on where you want him to move, and he's going to play like the other side. Not for on tour, but he has some really cool stuff planned, guys. So
how's his camera look? Does it look good? Because it's our camera.
It does. I totally helped Game Boy Geek with his streaming setup, so it looks amazing. Yeah,
he doesn't typically do a lot of live.
Yeah, so it was really nice being able to, you know, help him out and see what he's going to create with all that. I'm really excited about
it. Now, what Billy Idol songs do you play whenever you play Necromancer?
Oh, what is that one?
I play Rob Zombie when I play my Necromancer on Skyrim. I do. So I'm like, burn through the witches. Yeah, it's bad.
Wow, wow. All right, so yeah. I think Mountain Goats would be my second. And I'm really interested in that Queen's game, Winter Kingdom, as well.
I want to play Sanctuary.
I really want to thank Isaac for coming on today and hanging out with us and being available for anybody to ask any questions and kind of put some input into everything. So I'm super excited about that. The map will spin once we get that Lazy Susan, Mike. And I just want to say thank you guys for everybody that showed up today. We really, really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and giving your opinion on all these Kickstarters and talking with us. Because as you guys know, the Kickstarter is like, we can't cover everything. We can't take a look at the details of everything because there's so much happening out there.
I do. I looked at everything.
Do you? You look at every single little tiny detail of everything?
Everything.
And we don't miss a thing, guys. But you guys are always available to give your input and everything. We really, really appreciate that.
I'm really just looking for, I'm in the market for not a lazy Susan, a hardworking Susan that will just spin the board for us. Do we know anybody named Susan that's just a hard worker, a real go-getter?
No, you can't do that. We don't want Susan over at our house right now. Are you crazy right now?
Okay, fair.
Yeah, jeez.
Keep Greg 2 meters away. Always, at all times. That's actually my preference.
We'll just have Greg like super crazy, like in the back corner, standing behind.
On the wall or something.
Oh, hello, Aussie Solo Gamer. I didn't see you coming.
Yeah, no, Aussie. That's why I popped on. I said our Aussie is here.
Well, thanks so much.
It's Saturday over there already.
For everybody that joined us, what games are we playing this week?
So this weekend we are playing
Gloomy Graves
and Tasty Humans.
So Tasty Humans on
was that Kickstarter that we
Sunday.
Backed? Yep, and then Monday is Gloomy Graves, which you picked up
Monday is
at
Gloomy
Gamma.
Graves. Gloomy Graves is so good, guys. Like, I can't talk enough good about that game. So simple to learn. Cannot wait to play it and show you guys. It flew under the radar. It is a remake of Rollancy, so if you guys played that, like, it's so good, okay?
Check out Rob Zombie's Hellbelly Deluxe.
And thank you so much for hanging out with us again today, guys. Anything else?
Play Animal Crossing.
Gonna be doing some Blood Bowl games here soon. So.
Oh, yeah, we're in a Blood Bowl league, so maybe we'll stream some of that.
Absolutely. Everybody stay safe and healthy. We will talk to all of you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.